Notice the phrase that follows. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. This is Jesus's code phrase, a quiet signal to the initiated that what he has said contains hidden layers, mysteries not meant for the casual listener. He is not speaking of physical hearing, but spiritual perception. Now here's the key that connects this parable to the two seeds. In many mystical texts, including the Gospel of Philip and the Apocryphon of John, Jesus teaches that humanity contains two origins, two seeds. One is the seed of the world, born from ignorance, attachment, and fear. The other is the seed of light, the divine spark, placed within us by the Father of Truth. The fisherman's choice represents the soul's awakening to its true lineage. It is the act of discerning between what is temporary and what is eternal, between the personality that perishes and the consciousness that does not die. This is not a rejection of the world. It is a transformation of how we see it. The small fish are not enemies. They are experiences meant to teach the soul discernment. Every moment of suffering, every desire, every mistake is a ripple in the great sea, guiding us back toward the recognition of the large fish, the singular truth. I and the Father are one. The two seeds are constantly at war within us. One seeks nourishment from the earth, validation, pleasure, control. The other hungers for light, truth, peace, divine unity. And every thought, every choice, every act of awareness is like casting a net. What you choose to keep determines which seed you water. This is the inner meaning of salvation. Not a ticket to heaven, but a conscious cultivation of the divine seed within you, until it grows strong enough to transcend illusion entirely. Jesus did not tell us to reject the world. He told us to see through it, to know which seed we are nurturing. Because the kingdom of God is not a place, it is a state of consciousness. And that kingdom begins to bloom the moment we too become the wise fisherman. Now that we understand the symbolic architecture of this parable, the sea, the net, the fish, and the act of choosing, we can move even deeper into its hidden layers. Because what if the parable of the two seeds isn't only about inner awakening, but also a revelation about the origin of good and evil and the cosmic design of the universe itself? To understand the deeper current of this parable, we must now look beyond the personal and into the cosmic. Because this story, this image of the wise fisherman choosing one great fish, is not just about the soul's awakening. It is about the entire design of creation itself. The ancients believed that all existence unfolds through two forces, two seeds that eternally intertwine, the seed of light and the seed of shadow. One expands, the other contracts. One creates, the other preserves and dissolves. These are not enemies, but complementary powers, the inhale and exhale of the divine. Jesus, as the mystics understood him, was not merely speaking about morality or heaven. He was unveiling the great mystery of duality, how spirit descends into matter, and how matter yearns to return to spirit. When the fisherman casts his net, he mirrors the act of creation itself, the infinite casting its awareness into the sea of potential, drawing forth countless forms. But among these forms, only one carries the fullness of the light, the Christ seed, the image of God hidden within all things. The little fish, the many forms of creation, are beautiful but fragmented reflections of that one. They are partial truths, scattered sparks. They shimmer for a moment, then disappear. But the large fish, the eternal seed, is the remembrance of the whole. The fisherman choosing it represents the return of consciousness to unity, the completion of the cosmic circle. In this sense, the two seeds are not enemies, but stages in a divine process. The seed of matter is necessary. It anchors spirit in experience. It allows creation to exist. But if one forgets the seed of spirit, one becomes lost, trapped in the ocean of multiplicity. The purpose of awakening is not to destroy the material seed, but to redeem it, to bring light into it until matter itself becomes luminous. This too is why the Church feared the Gospel of Thomas. It suggested that salvation was not a future event, nor dependent on external authority. It was an inner alchemy. And alchemy, in its truest form, is the union of these two seeds, the merging of heaven and earth within the human being. In some Gnostic traditions, this was symbolized by the bridal chamber, the sacred marriage between the lower and higher self, where the fragmented seed of the world is embraced and transformed by the seed of light. When the two become one, said Jesus, then you will say to the mountain, move, and it will move. To those with ears to hear, this was not a metaphor. It was a description of transmutation. The small fish, ego, emotion, desire, must be acknowledged, not denied. The fisherman doesn't kill them. He returns them to the sea, to the flow of life. Only then can he hold the great fish without burden. This is the hidden logic of the universe. What you release returns purified. What you cling to decays. The wise fisherman knows that attachment to the small fish, endless desires, identifications, judgments, creates suffering. But by letting them go, by keeping only the essence, he becomes aligned with the will of the eternal. Here lies the paradox of the parable. You find wholeness, not by gathering, but by selecting, not by possessing, but by discerning. The divine seed within us cannot grow in a cluttered mind. It needs silence, spaciousness, surrender. Thus, the fisherman's net is both the act of seeking and the act of releasing. And perhaps this is the ultimate message Jesus veiled beneath this imagery, that the kingdom of heaven is not something we reach by grasping for more, but by learning to let go, until what remains is the one great fish, the singular essence of being. This, then, is the heart of Thomas 8. The sea of existence teems with possibilities, but only one is truly alive. It is the seed of spirit, the remembrance of the divine self within all creation. When you, like the fisherman, choose it without hesitation, you fulfill the purpose of both seeds. Matter returns to light. The circle closes. The ocean becomes still.